Some new hints are going on with Bayley and Iyo Sky, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out the latest for Dominik Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, and much more. Let's start things off with Bayley and Iyo Sky. After months of nearly being on the brink of imploding with tension and miscommunication, Damage Control has finally turned everything around and is headed in a positive direction. Iyo Sky is now the WWE Women's Champion, and the division runs through Damage Control once again. Dakota Kai has even been making a few WWE appearances lately as well. Dakota still can't get physical because she's still obviously recovering from that torn ACL, but even just having her there in a non-physical role still does boost the overall morale of Damage Control. But everyone's eye here in this situation is still locked in on Bayley. When Bayley created Damage Control, she had the intention of all three of them capturing gold. But Bayley obviously wanted Dakota and Iyo to capture the tag team titles, while Bayley herself won the big singles title. That appeared to be Bayley's plan from the start. She wanted the WWE Women's title all for herself within the group. And now, a little over a year later, and if you're judging by championships won, Bayley would actually have to count as the least successful Damage Control member in terms of that category. Dakota Kai won 2 tag team titles. Iyo won 2 tag team titles and the WWE Women's title, all while Bayley had won 0 titles since returning in 2022. So it's pretty insane just how much that narrative has flipped on its head there. Everyone thought Bayley would be the women's champion with Iyo and Dakota behind her trying to catch up. But in reality, it's been the exact opposite. Iyo ended up winning that exact title that Bayley had been chasing ever since returning in 2022. So that's the big reason why everyone feels this second honeymoon that Damage Control is going through most likely won't last forever. It has to get to the point where Bayley's selfishness and greed will just break right through. And on a recent edition of SmackDown, we saw some very early teases of that. During the backstage interview with Damage Control, Bayley can be seen eyeing down Iyo's championship the entire time, even lightly running her fingertips on the edge of the title while Iyo was holding it. And a lot of those subtle hints does remind everyone once again of that Sasha and Bayley storyline from back in 2020, where we saw very similar things. Sasha would eye down Bayley's title in multiple segments. Sasha would even hold the title and look at it while Bayley was in a match. Just other little things like that. And we all saw how that one turned out. So that's what everyone expects to see here with the way Bayley is giving off those hints. Obviously, everyone expects Bayley to be the one to snap and turn on Iyo Sky, making Iyo the babyface in this situation. So we'll have to see if everyone's prediction does come out true down the line. Well, it was earlier this week where Lacey Evans herself started the rumor herself that she was apparently done with WWE, and we spoke about all the speculation there. Well, now it appears to be official. Lacey Evans is gone and officially done with WWE. After tweeting out questioning how many days were left until she's free on Monday, Lacey took to Instagram Tuesday night to reveal that once the clock strikes midnight, everyone had to refer to her as her real name from this point on. She implied that she'll be auctioning off some of her gear and clothing that has Lacey Evans branded on it. There's no other details on Lacey Evans leaving WWE at this point, but just judging by some of her recent social media posts, it doesn't look like she was unexpectedly fired. It looks like she was granted her release and was very eager and happy to finally be done with the company. So we'll see if more details start to come out there. The Judgment Day continues to be highly featured on both Raw and NXT, and it seems like we're about to see another big first time ever for the Judgment Day, more specifically Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. It was recently announced that at NXT Heatwave on August 22nd, Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio will team up for the first time ever to take on Valkyria and Dragon Lee. Rhea Ripley and Dominik have been paired on television as a couple for almost a year now, but this is the first time that they'll be competing in a tag team match with each other on a pretty big stage like this. So it'll be great to see what kind of chemistry they have together as tag team partners. Speaking of tag team partners for Dominik Mysterio, one fellow WWE star recently suggested that Dominik leave Rhea Ripley's side and join them instead, because of how they can probably go further and accomplish even more things together. And this star was Logan Paul. Logan Paul explained his idea and vision of teaming with Dominik Mysterio during his podcast and had this to say, quote, "I had a crazy idea recently. Dom is super heel right now. Dominik Mysterio cannot get a word out. He lifts the microphone to his mouth and the whole arena boos. He can't cut a promo when he plays on it. And it's really working right now. They hate him. Logan Paul, Dominik Mysterio in a tag team. The most hated duo of all time. The most hated tag team partners in the WWE, just crushing it. Running through. Cause we have a story arc too. We both did our first WrestleMania together. That was our first WrestleMania. It would be crazy. I don't know. Me and Dom, maybe we could go further than him and Rhea." End quote. And Logan Paul has a pretty good idea there. Dominik and Logan are two of the biggest and most natural heels right now in WWE. So if you put them together, it's safe to assume that they would really be considered as the most hated duo of all time, and the crowd will really be engaging in the matches and wanting to see them lose. And also, like Logan Paul said, you have some history there to play off of. Logan Paul and Dominik Mysterio both made their WrestleMania debuts in the exact same match, in a tag team match, but they were on opposite sides of the ring back then. So it would be pretty insane to revisit that story there, but with Dominik and Logan now being partners. This isn't the only story of the week involving Logan Paul. AEW World Champion MJF recently expressed his desire to appear on Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive. Logan Paul's podcast isn't a WWE product, but Logan is signed to WWE after all. So there's probably some unwritten rule there that Logan is going to have some type of special permission granted from WWE if he does in fact want MJF on his podcast. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle appear to be forming a tag team with each other, and they instantly started getting comparisons to RK Bro due to their similarities. Randy Orton and Riddle's team was focused around how they didn't really have anything in common as tag team partners, and that helped to build the foundation for their tag team. And now with Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre, that also seems to be the case. They're two completely different superstars that you wouldn't expect to get along at all. So a lot of fans are wondering if that same RK Bro dynamic will be recreated here. But according to reports, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle's storyline will apparently be different from Riddle's previous adventures with Randy Orton. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.